It was wild. But then they also got into Monique. She talked about her son and their relationship. She said that she had, was praying that they're able to get back to a place where they are, mother son in a real way. And then that's where he spoke up. So I'm going to play a little clip from his video. He did a 9-minute video.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to
we're
this
not putting
whole
all
thing.
that. No, sir. No, sir.
That's too much. He has a lot of feelings.
But I do want to just get into it because I think he discusses a lot of interesting points. And I'll get into it once we listen to it. I don't want to ruin it. And
there's one thing about a woman with daddy issues, but a man with mommy issues, run! Run!
All right, so here's Shalon here.
My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. If I had to guess, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down the path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be.
All right, so you get the gist of what he's upset about. Successful kid problems. Oh my God, my rich parent, I can't see them. All right, so then Ray respond. Sydney and Monique, they respond. So I'll get into their conversation.
We'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy because this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love this. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how
he set aside for
I,
money.
from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it. And
He
you
set
were
aside for
31
money.
years of age, 32 years of age.
Talk about it, Sydney.
And I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. These are the things that you're leaving out when you were expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying: believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things.
I don't love that.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm on Monique and them side, yo.
Of course you are.
I'm definitely on Monique and them side with
This
this
is
one.
the third week in a row that we're having a conversation that falls into the same box about whether money or parenting is more, money or time is more important or more integral to parenting. And time again, we've had kids come out and say that throwing money at me was not the best option, which is what he's saying. And then he sat there at the end of what's his name, Shalon.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of his thing, when we cut it off because it wasn't the end, he said, aside from money. So he acknowledged that, like, she has financially supported him and been there for him, and when he needs things, she gives him the things. So I find it interesting that what's his name? Sydney was only able to bring up ways that they've been able to financially support him. He didn't bring up any way that they emotionally supported him. He mentioned that, oh, we got everything for your baby 3 years ago, last time we spoke, but like, do you know that baby? Like, have you seen that baby?
You can't basically make them have a relationship. Like, again, I understand what she says. When you're ready to actually have a relationship, let me know. Because I'm going to say why. The reason why I say why is because at this time, you're an adult. You're not a child. You are an adult now. So I understand, like, hey, you have emotional things that weren't addressed during the parenting. Cool. There's reasons for that. And for him to be a stand-up comedian, it shows in the level of success where passions lie at. Because at the end of the day, that's what got her to drive to what she's doing. There's a lot of people who go after their passions. A lot of people fail at it. Mm-hmm. She was successful. But this is what obsession looks like. This is what sacrifices for what can be a better life in the future looks like. You pay a cost so that something in the future can be worth more than what you paid that cost for.
We agree on that. She got her success at the cost of her relationship with her child.
I mean, she got it at the cost of time. Everybody's going to have to give up time doing something they maybe want to do or could be doing. Child. And I mean, that's what's going to happen though when you're going after this kind of success. When she was in the Shannon Sharp interview, she talked about when she was a little girl, the thing that she knew she wanted to do the most was be on TV and be famous. That was a driving force for her for almost her whole life. And I don't think people understand that because a lot of people don't have passions. Most people aren't passionate about something. Most people won't run through a brick wall for anything in life. They'll never experience anything about passion when it comes to a craft, work, anything kind of that kind of experience. You're never going to have that kind of passion, and people can't understand it. So it's like you'll see, like, how could you not, be there as a mother for your kid? But it's like she's looking at how can I, as a comedian, someone who is an entertainer, not be out there entertaining, going on the road and putting out my product.
Yeah,
and it's a battle before that. And I can't be mad at her for anybody that makes that choice and that decision, if they fail or if they're successful. Because at the end of the day, I would hate to see the woman she would be if she was stuck just being the mom.
Yeah.
I would hate to see what kind of woman she would be then. Because he didn't say
she
nothing
would
about
be
abuse.
she probably, I don't know if she
She'd
would be
probably
a
be the
terrible
precious mama.
But we don't know all that now.
Allegedly then.
But she probably wouldn't be the best mom she could be. Damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say when you were finished what you were saying.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, I'm never going to be upset with someone who makes those choices, those decisions.
Okay, I know what I was gonna say. If you're so passionate about something, like if you've been passionate about something your entire life and this is your driving force for everything, do not have children. Don't. If you're willing to sacrifice time with your kids time and time and time again, months at a time, you know you're not going to be there, don't fucking have kids. Don't have kids. Every single child that has parents that are super famous that didn't have time for them but have all of the things say, yes, the things were nice, but I still wanted my parents' time.
I just feel like it's a cop-out, bro. As somebody
Bro,
who got
don't have
everything from their
kids.
parents.
Don't have kids.
As a person who got
Do
everything.
not have children.
As a person who got everything they wanted from their parents, I tried that BS too one time. And that's all it was BS. Because none of y'all kids would want to be like anything we've seen where these little other kids in bad situations or less than ideal situations are when they have to wake up and go to school. So it's easy to say, it's easy to look a parent in their eye and say and question what their decisions made when you weren't the one that had to make it, nor would you have to live with the results.
Okay. I still think you shouldn't have kids if you're going to be more passionate about your career than your child. And then as a person whose parents had more time than money, I don't look back and be like, oh, I wish they had more money than time. No, I've never thought that ever in my life. There's like times where I'm like, oh, maybe I wish I could have done like a summer camp.
Well, that's because you didn't get the worst end of the stick for it. There's a lot of girls who went through similar situations to you and got hurt.
But I was just in the house.
I'm not talking in the house. They got hurt. They were not protected. Things happened to them. People let things happen to them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you were lucky and fortunate for your experience.
Things happen to people who don't have money and who do have money.
I'm not saying that it doesn't, but like, again, those two different things. There's a different experience when you go there and one person's talking to the public school counselor about it and the other one's talking to a professional therapist and is able to get treatment.
So we've seen kids over and over from all walks of life come out and be like, I wish my parent had more time for me, even though they provided for me financially. I don't think that we have seen the opposite in equal amount.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, for one thing, a lot of those kids, they're doing it for clout. They're doing it to get attention. They're trying to make something of themselves. And that's the classic way, oh, boo-hoo me, my rich parent wasn't there. Duh, nigga, it was being great. Like, they were trying to be out here and be awesome with shit.
Okay, let me ask you a whole different question.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, developmentally, your parents do have to be there for you. You know this.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
For your psychological well-being.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
For your development, for your, it's
I'm not saying that's the case.
It's one of the things that you need.
Yes. And
as a human being.
Do you think she dropped in 0% of that?
No, I don't think she dropped in 0%. But, like, it wasn't up to par
for
at
him.
all.
We don't know that because we could go back and look at it and think, that was it. For him, but that's what I'm saying. That's an emotional crutch.
That's the person that it matters
and
to.
That's
is
what
the person that it was happening to.
And we can all look at it objectively and say, my nigga, you're on some bullshit.
No, that's not what I mean,
you can, but I'm saying I can make that assessment. Yeah. I can look at it again. I grew up in a very privileged and fortunate environment, and for me to fix my mouth to ever again say some shit like, "Oh, I wish you would have put more time than into the work that was giving me the lifestyle that I had." Like, I'm never going to say that. Like, I just look at my life and my experiences. We joked about my Sweet 16 or whatever, me having a Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, gay.
My mom could have covered
as a man, why would you have a Sweet 16?
My parents could have covered that party by themselves. They could have covered it by themselves, and it just would have been my party. Mm-hmm. They opened it up to two other people's parents and let them do like a small payment program so they could enjoy it too. And that's what I'm saying, where I understand how fortunate of a life I live, where my parents could have done something like that and it would not have hurt them at all. They wouldn't even second thought about it. And there was 2 other kids who were my friends. We did a lot of similar things who they could not have that same experience if my mom didn't open it up like that. And it's like, I appreciate that. I understand that.
I think it's really amazing that you got to like rent out a place for a Sweet 16 and all that.
Yeah,
like
so
I always wanted to have a Sweet 16, but I didn't even like ask my parents to do any of that. But I never didn't like a birthday that I didn't have. I never didn't have both my parents at a birthday. I didn't ever not have gifts and a cake and friends and this and that. Like, I was always content. I wanted to have a conversation about privilege and what privilege looks like to certain people, because I was literally having this conversation with my best friend today, and I was saying that having people in your corner that care and will go to action for you is a privilege. So I feel like even if I had parents who couldn't financially provide, who couldn't give me the Sweet 16 with the court and the dresses and the tiara and all that stuff, like having them there and as my safety net regardless of anything I grew up privileged also. Even though I didn't have no money, I literally was an immigrant living in basement apartments with my parents. Like, I remember one time I asked my mom why we didn't have a staircase in our house. And she still remembered, like, she brought it up to me a couple months ago. She was like, that shattered me. And I was like, bro, I don't know why I said that.
But
like,
I'm saying, listen to her, though. It shattered her.
It shattered her completely. But now we have a...
Yeah, now because it worked out. But, like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And I think that's a lot of the cases that, even with this
but
gentleman...
I'm just saying, from my perspective, I feel like my mom always... This is a good... My mom always was like, oh, we're not in a good situation. And I never was... I was like, what are you talking about? Like...
But you didn't know the opposite.
We're not poor. Like, I'm comfortable as hell, and I'm happy as fuck. Like, you're here with me. My dad, I can call him up, and he's here within 2 hours, max. And I felt like that was a privilege.
But did you ever go to people's houses when you were younger and seen how they were living?
My cousins and stuff, yeah.
See, that was an experience that I would have common very often, where people would come to my house, come to my home, people, young black kids and stuff, and they were shocked to see 3 levels in the house. Mm-hmm. You got a basement and upstairs? Mm-hmm. You got how many bathrooms? How many beds? Like, that was a shock. People didn't see black people who live like that. So for me, it was always an experience where I was the person other kids would realize, oh, my parents are poor. No, for real. That was what it would. That's what would happen. They would realize that because why? Because Fred's mom's always the one taking them to Six Flags. Fred's mom's always the one taking us everywhere, doing things that she's the one getting us food. Like, you realize that as you growing up, like, whoa, like, there's a difference here. My mom could never do this. We talk about anything a quarter of the price of doing something like this, and it's a discussion that feels uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So it's like to never have that, to never feel that kind of embarrassment, never feel like I should be ashamed of anything like that. Like, oh, never having to experience something to say, oh, because I can't afford it. That in and of itself is just does wonders for your confidence in the future.
Yeah, it does, and that's a privilege. That is a privilege. I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying
my experience also
and I'm not trying
was
to
a privilege.
And I'm not trying to put your experience down or make it less than anything. What I'm just saying, in reality, and what the experience is, and what you can weigh in the world, and what statistics show, like, that is the best thing that you could do. Like, even with you, he's a struggling comedian, and that nigga didn't look like he was anywhere struggling. I know a lot of niggas who they got to be in their car when they do a video like that.
Yeah,
because that's the only decent place they got around. You was in a living room. You had some funky lights. Like, bro, you have to put things in perspective. No, for real, you got to put shit in perspective, yo. Like, once I was able to do that, and I looked at people's lives compared to my parents and what they were able to create and their efforts, I was no longer upset about that. I could never look at my parents and be upset about that. And again, I understand what Monique's saying when she says about that, because with me, my parents didn't come from like, oh, I'm going to just do a lot of stuff. It was also a lot of things that I spoke to them, and then we did it. Like, if I didn't ask my dad to do anything, He'll never be like, hey, let's go to a game or go. He would never ask me that. He wouldn't even ask me to come over if he haven't seen me in weeks. Like it just wouldn't happen. But
Your mom would.
I mean, yeah, she would. But when it comes to that, like I initiate everything, and I don't have a problem with that. You even see with both my parents, I initiate affection.
Yeah, they're just not physical affection.
Yeah, but it's
people.
not. But those are things that you would say you can see other people scream for and say, "Oh, why don't you do this?" I take it.
That's why physical affection is such an important love language of yours, I think, because neither of your parents' love languages are physical affection.
But I take it from them.
Your dad's love language is acts of service 100%, because as soon as you need him, he's there, and he's there.
Oh, for sure.
Fully.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I don't bitch and complain about the stuff that I wish I got.
I think your mom's love language is quality time, because if you go a couple days without calling her or seeing her, she thinks you don't love her anymore.
Yeah.
So they have different ways of expressing their love to you. It just wasn't physical.
Or
touch.
it wasn't even verbal a lot. Like again, a lot of the things that
both
was initial,
those things are very important to you. Physical touch and acts
but
and
what
words
do I
of
do?
affirmation, his top love languages that he needs.
But that's the thing though. But what do I do? Do I sit there and bitch about my parents not doing, or do I just go up to my mom and get affection from her?
He will force affection on
Both
his parents on a regular basis.
And you're not gonna stop me and make me feel bad about it.
They don't stop him.
And I meet them. If they're saying this is what you're gonna give me, I'm going to get what I want from my parent.
Yeah, he does that.
And that's at some point what you have. If I can ask my mom to come here and fix like he just did, to buy him a car and do all stuff, then I'm gonna say, just go to the fucking movies.
Not. You're talking about your mom.
But I'm saying, I'm just saying. I'm not talking about my mom. I'm saying him.
Watch this.
I was talking about him.
Just in the same breath. Just don't put it there.
I'm just saying, like, we going to the movies,
Nigga
yo.
wild,
I'm just saying, yo. Like, go out, meet your mama where she is. She's saying, she wants to have something with you. Like, all she wants you to do is, it's a relationship, so you have to give and take something.
Again, we don't know the nuances. If Monique has been reaching out over and over and over
No,
again,
she don't have to. If she gave you that option, and
if
you
she
have
gave
not
you
taken
the,
it,
if
that's
she
you.
gave you the olive branch and was like, "Son, I'm willing to meet you halfway," then meet her halfway. But if she's just been like, "Here's some money," and then like that over and over again, then I don't know. We both had active moms and dads, so
and the stuff that I did,
can't
and the stuff that I
relate.
felt like as an older adult, the stuff that I felt like I didn't get, I made it my business to get it. Even if they made them uncomfortable and made them not want anything, they say it's weird. I don't care. I don't care.
That's crazy. I had perfect parents. I didn't feel like I was neglected in any way. I
don't feel like I was neglected.
Not neglected. I didn't there wasn't anything lacking. I didn't want anything from my parents at all. I wanted to maybe go to a summer camp once in a while, but we didn't have enough money. That's all I wanted. That's it. But like, as far as like physical affection, like words of affirmation, quality time, all of like my parents, both of them covered all of the bases very thoroughly. As far as like loving me and making me feel like I'm wanted and loved.
Yeah, I'm
my
just saying,
confidence.
Like, yeah, I mean, again,
is my parents.
oh for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like I said, the confidence that gave me, like, hey, I'm just gonna say this, man. I don't want no hugs from my dads, and man, we was broke, yo. Just saying. Get that PlayStation and that Nintendo same Christmas, nigga. Get that PlayStation up too, nigga. Like, we up. Every PlayStation come, I want it right there, nigga. I ain't never had the old shit. That was y'all, the niggas. Y'all came over my house and played it.
I remember there was one Christmas my mom got me a robe.
That was like in the secondary gifts for me. Like, that was secondary third gift.
I was so mad. I was like, a robe? But then I kept that robe for like a decade.
Like I said, I had the
It had
games.
cats. It was
Cousins
pink.
used to come over. Cousins was all playing my games. They wanted to be on my telescope. You know what I'm saying? My little tracks I had with everything.
My cousins weren't allowed to come over my house because my mom let me watch whatever I wanted on TV.
Well, see, we wasn't like that. I watched whatever I
Them
wanted on
niggas
TV
didn't have
too.
a TV. Lame ass niggas. They didn't even have a TV.
I watched
in their
Simpsons
house.
when I was little.
They was
Rated R
reading
movies
books.
when I
Boo,
wanted to.
nerds.
I had it good. I had it real good. Appreciate that, Shirley and Fred, my niggas. Y'all had it